everyone, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to the kind of video where I do an overview or sort of year in review so far, because we have reached that halfway point of 2025. I know, don't freak out. We're halfway through the year. That is so wild to me. And honestly, I'm surprised that I haven't seen more videos of people being like, we're halfway through 2025. Can you believe it? Yeah, I gotta clock in with being one of those people, but I'm honestly thrilled because, you know, spring, summer, they're the best months of the year. So I'm happy that we are at this point. Partially, it is the fact that it is my birthday next week, so I'm actually doing my birthday party today. That is why I have this green eye makeup look. We're doing like a beach themed birthday party, so I'm wearing like this brat summer green one-piece bathing suit and bucket hat, whole vibe. Maybe I'll insert a picture here. Has nothing to do with today's video, but I just wanted to give you background on the makeup look. I'm also probably have too much bronzer on, if we're being honest, but birthdays, beach party, I feel like it sort of gives me license to do so. But as I was saying, year in review, what we are looking at today is all of the products that have left my collection so far in 2025. I think I did one of these videos last year. I also do every other month videos where I talk through all of the makeup that I have either panned or decluttered over the course of the year, but it's nice to do sort of a like larger haul where I can show collectively what has been done so far, because honestly, there's always products that I forget that I panned, even if it was only 6 months ago. I'm like, wow, was that only 6 months ago? Did I really just pan that in 2025? It's nice to sort of look back, and especially so at the end of the year. I make sure to do a video like this at the end of every year so that you can see 12 months worth of makeup panning progress and declutters, at least for the products that I still have. Obviously, some of my decluttered products I pass on to other people, but most of them I think I still have, if not all of them, all of the decluttered makeup from this year so far. So yeah, we're gonna go through everything and see how many makeup products have left my collection so far in 2025. I actually think I know the number because the most recent video I filmed, I will link that here, is a video where I figure out how many products I have total in my collection. I'm working towards a goal of 125 makeup products total by the end of 2025. It's still looking a little unclear about if I will be able to achieve that goal, but looking at the products that have left my collection in the first 6 months really helps to try to calculate how close I am to that number and if it will be achievable. And right now, it's not looking impossible, but it's not looking super likely. So could be worse, could be better. But also, I'm actually not wearing blush right now, mostly because the bronzer is acting as the blush, but I'm gonna try out this blush. I've had it in my collection since December and I have never used it. So I'm gonna go film a TikTok where I try it out and I will be right back. Okay, this is maybe not the best blush to wear when you're wearing a lot of bronzer. Like that just looks kind of wild. But I think it would be a great blush on its own, on a minimal makeup day look with no bronzer. I think that that's better suited, but it's fine. So, okay, as I mentioned, we have two categories. We've got all of my makeup empties, and then we've got all of my makeup declutters. And they're not really organized in that way. So basically, I have two bags here. This is the bag that I collect of all of my like monthly, bi-monthly makeup empties and declutters. So this is the stuff that I'm saving for my next update. I actually did my most recent update quite recently, so I won't be filming for another little while, but we've got quite a few products in here that I will have to mention. I just don't want to combine it with that other bag, which is all the rest of the stuff from the year, because then I'm going to forget which products were from this most recent empties and declutters. So let's start with the older stuff, and then at the end I will add in the stuff that I have decluttered and finished more recently. I've got a lot of stuff in here that's not makeup, but we are going to not mention that for now because, like, do you guys really want to see me talk about my face wash, my toothpaste today? Probably not. I do cover all those things in my bi-monthly videos, but for a like half year in review, we're just covering makeup here. Okay, so I do want to say, first of all, the first thing that I have written down on my list is this foundation sample from Fenty. However, it doesn't really count because I never considered this towards my overall makeup number. I never counted this as one of my foundations. So it is an empty because I used up every single one here. And then I have 3 actual empties to talk about, which is not that many, but keep in mind, these are just from like, I don't even think it included May. I think it was just January to April, maybe the beginning part. So surprisingly, not that many makeup empties for the first few months of the year. If I had to give an excuse, I would just say that I do find that there are more empties towards the end of the year because by that point, I've been project panning certain items for an entire 12 months. Whereas a lot of the products that I bring into my project pan, I only start panning in January, unless they're sort of like leftovers from the previous year, but that's not all of them, obviously. One that was a leftover from the previous year was this Merit highlight. Now, it's not fully an empty because I did actually end up depotting the remaining product into a different container. So again, this doesn't fully count, but I used it all the way up to that like line. I loved it. And this, it was bittersweet when I finished it because I was like, I don't know if I'm going to purchase it again because it is quite expensive and I can't decide if I should try out a different brand, like a similar product from a different brand, but I did love it and I still do have that depotted part. I didn't realize it would last as long as it has. So again, this is only partially considered an empty, but I did finish up this entire container. The next empty is this mascara, the Katy Cat Eye mascara. And with mascaras, I mean, I use them for as long as I feel comfortable. So you do not need to copy what I do, but this was definitely dried up. I mean, when I swatch it on my hand, there's like obviously some product left, but it was so dry that it was really getting tough to use on my eyes. And the brush just got kind of weird. Like that's really hard to apply evenly across all the lashes. So I called it done. And yeah, honestly, if I can get like 2 mascaras out over the course of a year, maybe 3, then I am happy because mascaras are tough for me. I just have so many. I rotate through all of them and then I end up not finishing any of them. And the final one is this Urban Decay eyelid primer. This was a mini. This is 2 milliliters and yet it took me, I think 4.5 months to actually complete, which is wild. Cannot believe that it took me so long, but I am glad to have it out of my collection because I knew it was the kind of thing that like was pannable if I just set my mind to it for a little bit. Other products, you're like, I'm just never gonna finish this, and that's how it is. Like this cream blush. Blushes? No, there's no point in trying to pan them, at least for me, unless they're minis. Eyeshadow palettes, no point in trying to pan them, but eyelid primers, if you dedicate yourself to it, you can in fact do it. So those were the only makeup products that I finished over the first few months of the year, but now I'm going to show you my more recent makeup empties, and I have finally gotten some of that momentum and I do have some more empties. This is a little bit of a spoiler for my next like bi-monthly update, but I wanted to film this before the end of June. I wanted to film it at that like 6-month mark, so it is what it is. Okay, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's, oh yes, and 5. So yeah, I have 5 products that are leaving my collection just from within June and like last couple weeks of May, which I'm very happy about. Again, we're speeding things along. But the first one I will mention is this EOS lip balm. Now, okay, here's what happened. I finished this lip balm. I tried to get what out of it I could. I wasn't like scraping in there, you know, but I was really working at it. So I consider that finished. Then I moved on to my next lip balm, which happens to be this Blistex lip balm, which is fine. And then I finished it as well. However, there was product that was like still in there. So I decided to dig that out and then sort of plop that on top of the EOS container. So you can see I dug that out. I smushed it on top of there and then I've been slowly using it up. And you can see like in the corners, there is more. That's just sort of how it dispersal works when I'm going like that, you know, it'll move towards the edges. And this is like, again, pretty much done. Probably a couple more days of trying to get a little bit more on my lips, but this is effectively finished. So we can consider both of these lip balms done. I don't even know which lip balm I'm going to move on to after. I still have a couple. I think I have one unopened one and then one that has been opened. I'm not like a huge lip balm person. I don't get super dry lips, so it's more like when I feel I need it, I will use a lip balm, but I find that there are lip products that give you that moisturizing feel. And if I'm trying to use up a lipstick or something and it's a moisturizing lipstick, then I'll probably just reach for that rather than a lip balm if I'm out and about. Obviously, if I'm like going to bed and feel like I need something on my lips, I'm not going to put a lipstick on, but most of the time, that's not the situation. Most of the time, I'm out in the world. And I don't tend to bring lip balm around with me when I'm out. I'll just bring some kind of lip product that's like a lipstick, lip gloss, whatever. Now for the really exciting stuff. I finished these two liners. This is a lip liner, this is an eyeliner, and I finished them within like a couple of weeks of each other. Oh my god, I don't even think I can get the eyeliner out of there, but I was panning this for ages and ages. So glad to have finished that. And similarly, this one I was also panning for a while, but not nearly as long because this just came into my life in 2024, but I decided to use it up because it was a shade that I liked. Maybe I can add a little. Ultimately, the issue with this is that I couldn't sharpen it anymore. Like, there's still a bit of product left, but I couldn't fit it into the sharpener to sharpen it down. And it's really scratching my lips now, so that's why I stopped using it. There definitely is a little bit of product left. Cute. So, yeah, this is from Annabelle. So that's 3 lip products finished so far in 2025, which is great because I've mentioned many times before, the lip product part of my collection is far and away the most outrageous part of my collection. I just have the most products in it, and also I'm not a huge into lip person, so it just doesn't make sense. But we've got 1, 2, kind of, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. We've got 7 products that have been panned so far in 2025, which is not incredible, but I'm happy about that considering how things were looking just in May, that there was only a couple in May, and now I've like doubled or more than doubled that number over just the course of a month. So I already know of 2 products that are going to be done very soon, hopefully soon in the summer. In the fall, it's hard to predict what will be done, but I generally do have somewhere around 20 makeup products finished over the course of the year. That is looking tricky because we're at the halfway point and we're at like a third of that number. We're at 7. So 13 makeup products finished. I don't know if it's going to be possible. That seems like so many. I just don't know that I have enough products that are that close to being done. But we will see. Another good thing is that I haven't brought too many products into my makeup collection this year. Last year I brought so many products in, mostly things that were decluttered to me. This year that has not been the case. And I knew that that was kind of going to be a one-off thing because I had a friend who was moving and was just trying to declutter a bunch of makeup products. So I blame her for like at least half of the products that I brought into my collection last year. This year, so far that has not happened. So hopefully we can achieve that goal number of 125 just because I'm not bringing that many new products in. But we will have to see. And also, that is only half the story. The other half is the makeup products that I have decluttered and am decluttering over the next 6 months of the year. So let's move on to all the makeup products that I have decluttered so far in 2025. Okay, so within this big bag of all of my out products this year, which includes skincare, hair care, body care, etc., we've got just my makeup bag. So these are all of my declutters so far this year, and I'm happy to say there's quite a few in here. There's a couple nail polishes, so obviously those don't count. I'm gonna pull those out. Oh my god, there's actually so many nail polishes. I need to post these on like a Buy Nothing group or something. And one of them is a makeup brush that I'm decluttering. So also that doesn't really count. Like, this is part of my makeup collection, but I don't count brushes towards my product total. So that leaves us with a somewhat less impressive number, but still good. And there's one more product that is not here. Let me just double check my list. But do you remember that big e.l.f. eyeshadow palette that I had and I destroyed? I had so much fun like excavating it. That I decluttered, well, end of 2024, but officially 2025, I think. Makeup declutters. Okay, yeah, it's on the list. So let's go through these in the order that I have decluttered them. Now, January was a great month for decluttering. I feel like I just get in the mood at the end of the year, beginning of the next year. Everyone feels like, need to cleanse, new year, new me, get rid of the old stuff we don't use anymore. Technically, spring cleaning is like that too, but I think because we don't associate spring cleaning with like a very specific time or day, it's not like, oh, May 21st every year is like when we need to like declutter, do the spring cleaning. It's harder to like get in that mood. Whereas New Year's, you're like, starting fresh, let's go. So, okay, the first product that I decluttered this year was this KVD lipstick. Beautiful packaging, stunning, but this color, I'm just never gonna reach for. I was just honest with myself, and it was not gonna happen. Has not historically happened. Had this for at least a year, maybe 2 years, and someone else can probably use and enjoy it. Next is a blush. This was decluttered to me by Shauna. Cool packaging, and I was really excited to receive it because I'm really into cream blushes, but I just found that the combination of the shade and the formula did not work for me. I've tried quite a few cream blushes by this point, and I just didn't find this to have a good formula. It's dry in a weird way. I can't describe it. I don't know. Didn't like it. The shade is also not what I tend to go for. These days I like either a much brighter shade a la Milani Cheek Kiss or a much more muted, like nude, light pink shade. So this was not a good fit, but I was impressed that I was able to actually declutter it because, as I mentioned, like I just felt like I did not have enough, like there was a dearth, is dearth the right word, of cream blushes in my collection. However, I've since remedied that because of presents that I got and also a couple that I purchased for myself. Now I have enough cream blushes, at least for now. We've got a couple of liquid lipsticks. So there's this one from ColourPop. Kind of matching. And I used to love these ColourPop liquid lipsticks when they were like kind of new and exciting. Like before the liquid lipstick craze, there was nothing that really existed that was able to like stay on your lips and stay so precise for hours. So that's why I got so many at the time. I got 4 of them. Now I still like the idea of liquid lipsticks, but only if the formula is good. And the ColourPop ones, the formula was good at the time when there wasn't a ton that were on the market, but now comparatively it's not a good formula at all. It fades really badly from your lips. We've got the NYX glitter primer. This is one that I purchased myself on recommendation from a number of YouTubers. People just used to love this stuff, and when I purchased it, I didn't realize that I preferred mattes. Now I acknowledge that mattes are my preference. I'm usually going to go for a matte over a shimmer eyeshadow look, so I don't get a ton of use out of it because of that. But also, even aside from that, like I just don't need a separate product for glitter shimmer eyeshadows. It's not worth it, and it doesn't make enough of a difference to justify its existence. So said goodbye to that one. I also said goodbye to this Revlon cream eyeshadow pot. I had so many of these at one time, and I've just slowly whittled down my collection to now I only have 2. This was the 3rd one, because most of them were these shades that I was just never reaching for. I don't like cool shades. I don't like cool golds. I would prefer a pink or even like a warm bronzy, but a gold or a silver, just not for me. This formula actually works really well under other eyeshadows, but it doesn't make sense to keep it just as a base because I do have another eyeshadow base, like a lid primer. So I kept 2 of the ones that are still remaining, and I decluttered the one that I liked the least, which was this one. And then of course the e.l.f. eyeshadow palette. I will insert a clip here. I love that palette, but I just had to acknowledge that I'd had it for far too long. It was like probably the oldest thing. I hope it was the oldest thing in my collection at that point, and I had fun destroying it. But yeah, that was a big decision, and I thought that it would be the start of decluttering eyeshadow palettes because I have a few in my collection that I never reach for. So I started this whole eyeshadow roulette project. I will link the most recent iteration here. However, I have not managed to declutter any other eyeshadow palettes this year, which is frustrating to me. But again, like, January was a great month for decluttering, and I just have not been able to get back into that headspace since. So thank God I did the bulk of my decluttering then. Really covering the whole gamut here. We've got eye products, cheek products, lip products. We've got this Bonnie Bell. Oh, must have broken. This is a purple eyeliner. I used to love purples on the eyes, love purple eyeliner, and I just don't anymore. I never put purple anywhere near my eyes anymore. It just, again, it's like a cool shade. Like, I don't like silvers, blues, purples. What I do like are reds, oranges, yellows, and the occasional green, if it's the right shade of green. Lime green, great. Even deep green, could be great. Teal green, no, too close to blue. So this is a purple, and so it had to go. It just took too long to realize that. And then we've got another liquid lipstick. This is from NYX. I would say this is a better formula than the ColourPop one, but not by much. And it is also not a shade that ever worked for me. So this was a mistake purchase in the first place. I mean, yeah, I feel like of the product, because some of these, as I mentioned, were decluttered or gifted to me. And so I guess I can regret bringing them into my collection, but I didn't purchase them. So I can't regret it in the same way. But yeah, the products that I have purchased, honestly, some of these are so old I can't even remember. Well, the e.l.f. palette, I don't regret that. That was a good purchase. It's just that I'd had it for too long. But these ones, for sure, I purchased. I remember purchasing them, and both of them are regrets. It's not even like I loved them at one point and now I no longer love them. No, like these were underused from the very start, unfortunately. And the very final product that I have decluttered so far this year, which I have not announced yet, but I need to for this video to round it out, is my Milani Baked Blush in Luminoso. For a while there, I didn't think I was going to be able to declutter it, but I eventually decided that it was time. I will talk more in depth about this in that bi-monthly video where I spend a bit more time with each product. Obviously now I'm sort of speeding through them because there's so many to talk about, but I ultimately realized that this is too shimmery. I prefer a matte blush, and then if I want shimmer, I'm going to add highlight on top. And yes, it can work as a blush topper, but again, I would just rather use a regular blush and then top it off with highlight. Beautiful, lovely shade. Loved it at one point, just not for me anymore. So with that, how many declutters do we have? 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, the eyeshadow palette. So we've got 9 total declutters over the course of the year. And how many empties did I say we have? I already don't remember. 7? Yeah, 7 empties so far this year. So we've got 16 makeup products that have left my collection over the course of 2025. Not too shabby, but definitely not the best that it's been. If we continue along this road and we think, okay, double, that'll be somewhere around 30 products that have left my collection so far this year. However, I don't think I'm gonna reach that number because, as I mentioned, I did a bunch of decluttering in January, and I just don't think that, first of all, that I have that many products that I would want to declutter. Like, I decluttered the least favorites in my collection, and now I don't have least favorites in that same way anymore. But also, I don't have that same momentum. I don't have that drive to get things out right now, which I am kind of struggling with. Even with clothing, like my closet, it's bursting. I need to get rid of clothing, and I just can't bring myself to. Like, I can do like one shirt declutter every few weeks, but because I'm constantly bringing new things in because I go to a lot of clothing swaps, that's just not keeping up with how much is coming in. So I need to figure that out. That's a problem for another day, but I am really happy with these numbers so far this year. I do think that I said this number at the end of that video where I talked about my goals and how close I was to my goal of 125, but the number I am currently at in my collection right now, if I calculated everything correctly, is 136.5. So we are 11.5 products off of my goal makeup collection. I need to pan and or declutter at least 11 products before the end of 2025 if I want to reach that number. So as I mentioned, I think that's doable. I think it's possible. I don't know how likely it is, but I'm going to cross my fingers. I'm going to keep working on my products. I'm going to keep project panning. I'm going to hopefully not bring any new products into my life. And yeah, that's how we're looking. Halfway through 2025. Better than I expected, but could always be better. We will get there. I have confidence that I'll get to 125 makeup products one day. I just don't know how soon that's going to be. But that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know how you are doing with your collection and your goals halfway through the year. Are you going to reach them? And yeah, I might do a video where I talk about the products that I want to finish before the end of 2025. Obviously, I have a project pan, but in previous years, I had a plan to pan series where I talked specifically about the products, not just that I wanted to work on and make progress on, but specifically to finish by the end of the year. So I might do that at some point this summer or early fall as we get start thinking about the end of the year to really tangibly think about that number of 11.5 and how I can make that happen. But I'm going to talk about a book that I have been reading lately. Okay, sorry, my friend just called me. Our birthday, we're doing a mutual birthday, and the bar forgot about our reservation for 35 people, so that's great. Anyways, I think it's going to be okay. Walkable City by Jeff Speck, How Downtown Can Save America One Step at a Time. I mean, this is specifically about America, but not fully. He works in the US, so that is his foundation, but he talks a lot about cities in other parts of the world, but more as examples. Toronto and Vancouver come up the most in Canada, and then he talks about a lot of European cities and a little bit about some cities in Asia. But basically, I had heard a lot about this from the podcast What Should I Read Next? And it is about cities, essentially, and how the walkability of a city determines how good that city is. There's so much information. I don't even know how to summarize it, but basically cities that are car centric are not as great. If you need a car to get around in a specific city, you're not going to have as much tourism. The real estate values are going to be way down. People are going to have a much lower quality of life. All of these things. If you live in a city where you can walk around, at least in some neighborhoods in the downtown, and there's good public transit and there's bike lanes and people bike a lot, the quality of life of the people in that city is markedly better in every aspect. And I loved reading it. I found it so fascinating. I learned so much. So many little things that you don't even think about. Right now, my street, I'm overlooking a bike lane. And it's so important. First of all, I'm so grateful that I live in a city that has good public transit, that I live downtown and I can walk everywhere. I literally walk everywhere, except if I'm going to visit my family, then I take the subway. So first of all, I'm grateful for that, but it's not just gratitude, it's that I choose to live where I do because of that. I would not and I could not live in a city where that was not an option. I don't have a car. I don't need a car. Probably one day I will get a car if I move out of the downtown core of Toronto. The walkability of my life is such a part of my life and everything that I do, the friends that I see, the bars and restaurants I go to, the activities and the arts specific events that I engage in, all of that is only possible because of where I live, because I live in a walkable city. And it makes me so sad to think that there's places that don't have good public transit where you need a car to get anywhere. And so people just don't do as much because everything is so spaced out. He refers to that as sprawl. So I would highly recommend this book. Like, wow, one of the best books I've read of the year, if not for several years. It is a bit dense, but it is so worth it. Learning about like even parking. It's so important. It's so important to push for walkability in cities and good public transit. I mean, think about the cities in the US that people like the most and that people go to visit. It's like New York, Boston, Chicago. Of course, people also visit LA a lot, but mostly they just complain about the cars and how sprawled out everything is. But yeah, like that's the reason for it. That's why people go to Europe and love Europe, because everything is walkable. You can bike. So many people bike. Think about Disney. The reason people like Disney World is because it is a walkable city. I'm not making this up. Like, people want a main street. They want to live in a city like that with like a downtown, and they don't even realize that that's why they like Disney. So that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you next week. Bye!